Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you've become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama Strategy Session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama Strategy Session. In today's podcast episode, I will be answering a question that was submitted by a mama, a listener of this podcast. She says, "What advice do you have for stress management for a solo parenting mama? We are overseas and our husband's in the military." So I will be answering that question. But before I do, I want you to know that my goal is to answer one question a week on the podcast, and you can submit a question anonymously. You can either leave me a voice note, and I will then use that recording and play it on the podcast, and I will have the details in the show notes. There's a button to click on voice message, or you can fill out a form. Again, you can remain anonymous. You don't have to put your name there. I know this is a sensitive topic of anger, and you might feel uncomfortable sharing your name, and that's totally cool, and I respect that. But I want to be able to serve you a little bit deeper and answer your questions. So if you have questions for me, there's a way for you to submit a question, and I will answer it on the podcast. So it sounds like this mama is overseas. Her husband's in the military. She's solo parenting. She feels really depleted and burnt out because she's with the kids all the time. I'm not sure if she homeschools the kids, if the kids are in school, or if they're all toddlers and babies. And, that makes a difference. And so let's talk about, first of all, this feels hard. And I know that you're doing your best to your mental and physical capacity. If you feel stressed out, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel reactive, it makes sense because you have a lot on your plate. And it totally makes sense why you would feel depleted, burned out, and reactive. One of the things that I want you to be aware of first is if you are an extrovert or an introvert, and if you are a highly sensitive person. And I will link some episodes in the show notes that go a little bit more into depth about that. But if you are an extrovert, you will not need as much, I would say, stress management and maybe even alone time. You might be totally fine with your kids being around you all the time. Chances are you are an introvert and maybe a highly sensitive person. I am an introvert and a highly sensitive person. I don't mind company, but I really need alone time after that. And just literally like alone by myself, without my kids, without my husband, without anybody needing me. And also, I'm a highly sensitive person. I cannot handle a lot of noise and stimulation. I need some quiet time to decompress. So that is something to be aware of yourself. And that is just the way that God created you. There's nothing wrong with you if you're a highly sensitive introvert. Absolutely nothing. It's just the way that God created you, and your job is to honor that and respect that. So you probably already know the first thing that I'm going to mention is asking for help. Honestly, there's no way around it. Asking for help is a way for you to support yourself. It's not a weakness. That doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean you are a failure. It means that you're using a tool to support yourself. And I will give you some ways that you can ask for help here in a little bit, but that is a huge way to allow yourself the space that you need to lower your stress, to decompress, to recharge. If you're constantly on as a parent without a break, that is extremely draining and depleting. You're not meant to do this all alone by yourself. It's pulling from somewhere. It's pulling from your emotional, mental, or physical well-being. Nobody benefits when you're running on empty, and nobody suffers when you take care of yourself. All right. So asking for help is huge. So here's a few ways to do that. You can switch childcare with another mama. I used to do this with a neighbor down the street. She had toddlers. She has toddlers and I had a toddler, and we would switch childcare. I would watch her kiddos for a couple hours one day a week, and then she would watch my daughter a couple hours another day a week. And she had some alone time and did what she needed to do. I had some time for myself, and I worked on my business during that time. That is one way to do it. Another way to do it is look into Mommy's Day Out. There are some churches and organizations that will literally, it's like super cheap. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's like $10 or $20 a week, like for like half a day for them to watch your kids and feed them lunch. And I just like totally missed out on it this year. I wish I knew about it in the summertime and I would have signed my daughter up. But it was like half a day from like 10 to 2 or something. Like for 4 hours, they watch your kiddo and they entertain them and they feed them and they take care of them. It's like toddlers and under. And it's very, very affordable. And so look into that. That will give you a few hours in a week to have some time to yourself. At one point in Minnesota, when we lived next to a Lifetime Fitness, and I had a membership over there. And they had, I don't know if they still do it, 2.5 hours of childcare included in your membership. It used to be like, I'm sure it's more now, like $12 a kid per month that was back in the day, pre-COVID, for me to have 2.5 hours a day, Monday through Sunday. 2.5 hours a day of childcare included. It was so wonderful, glorious. I used it so much in the summertime. And it was actually the summertime where I struggled a lot with depression and I had a really hard time functioning. And like, that was my saving grace, able to take the kids over there, for them to be in there. I was able to either go outside and be by the pool. They had like a tennis court area, and above that, they had some like couches, and it was like a really quiet area. And I was able to be over there, and I did some work at some point. I just read a book. I did some reflection questions that my therapist would give me. And that was just me time. And my kids were in a safe space for 2.5 hours a day. And that was so wonderful. Sometimes I would just go to their cafe and just like grab one of those awesome smoothies that they have and just, have some time to myself. So that is one way to do it. Another one is right now that we use here is my kids go to Awana, depending on the ages of your kids. But we have a church. Well, actually, it's a church and a private Christian school that my kids attend to. And then they have Sunday nights, they have Awana for an hour and a half. And literally, like, all our kids now go there. My last year, so this is the second year my daughter's going. The year before that, in 24, she was going 23, 24, it was her first year as a 2-year-old going to Awana. And I mean, obviously there's a transition time. So that was time for her to have time over there. And all my kids would go to Awana at the same time. And they all do that right now. My oldest goes to youth, and then the other kiddos go to Awana. And it's an hour and a half on Sunday nights that I can use to catch up with the house. I can go run errands if I want to. I can go on a date with my husband if I want to. I can take a bath. We live 5 minutes away, so it's pretty close, but might not be the case for you. But look into that. Maybe that's something you can do. Another thing that we have is Sunday school for kids at 9 a.m. and then, church on Sunday at 10. And so I would bring the kids to Sunday school and then use that time to journal, to plan on my week, and just have some time to catch up, and use that time, just sit on the balcony. Nobody's there, and it's just nice and quiet. And, they might be practicing some worship songs, but I don't mind that. Another way that you can get some help is to maybe see if there's a retired lady at church who would love to come to your house and just help out with the kids a little bit, or even hire a mommy's helper, like a teenage girl who is homeschooled and she has time in the week and she can carve out a few hours and she can come to your house. She can organize things around the house. She can watch the kids. She can, cut up some vegetables, get some help so you're not feeling so burned out and stressed out all the time and everything is on your shoulders. And it's not that much money. I mean, a teenage girl might be you might be paying her $8 to $10 an hour. Okay, $10 an hour. And she's there for 3 hours once a week. That is a really great price, and you can get a lot out of that. So that's another way for you to get support. Listen to me. Alone time is crucial. If you're an introvert and you feel completely stressed out and burned out as a mom, alone time is crucial. And here's a way to get that. Things that I mentioned above, those are wonderful ways to get some alone time. And then if that's not an option, if your kids sleep through the night, alone time in the morning is wonderful. Getting up an hour or two even before your kids, depending on what time they get up. My kids get up after 7 in the morning, or on the weekends, and then during school week 6:45 I wake them up. But get up before your kids a couple hours, an hour, and have some alone time. Spend time with God, journal, move your body, do something that replenishes you and sets you up for the day. So alone time in the morning. Honestly, if I could say one habit that truly transformed my capacity levels as a mom and really helped me have more tolerance and patience throughout the day, it is getting up before my kids in the morning, spending time with God, journaling, and just having some quiet and stillness in my day before the day gets chaotic with kids. Because the more kids you have, there's just no way around it. There's going to be noise and chaos, not in a sense everything is out of control, but chaos, a normal amount of chaos. You can still be grounded and calm and present, even though there's a little bit of chaos going on with the kids. But it's just what happens when you have kids. There is a level of chaos. And then the second thing that I would say, if your kids, they're home with you all the time, if you have toddlers, you have babies, maybe you homeschool and they're a little bit older, you gotta have quiet time in the afternoon. I cannot tell you how many moms I would talk to who have toddlers that stopped napping and they're like, oh yeah, they just, play all day. We don't have quiet time. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Quiet time is absolutely essential in our house. I mean, my oldest is 13 and then Saturday, Sunday, we're at home, right? As a family, they don't have school, and in the summer times, whatever. We always have lunch and then quiet time in our house. Unless we're out of the house somewhere, and okay, you might have a day here and there, but that is not our norm. We can go somewhere in the morning and then afternoon after 3 o'clock, but between 1 and 3, it is quiet time in our house. I use that time as my work block. And then sometimes I use that time to decompress, to recharge, but it's absolutely quiet time. The kids are reading books. The kids are quietly playing with Legos or magnet tiles or coloring, or what I have paint by stickers, and they're separate parts of the house. Everybody has quiet time. Obviously, it doesn't have to be 2 hours right away. You can build up to it. But my toddler doesn't nap anymore. She's 3.5. She's still in quiet time. She's in her room right now. This is how I'm recording this podcast episode. She doesn't, there's obviously pauses where she's like, hey, I need to poop. I need to pee. I want a snack. obviously do everything I can on my end to minimize that, but it still happens. And I pause this episode, I go attend to it, and I come back. But still having quiet time is absolutely must in your home. Like you are missing out if you don't have quiet time. And here are some ways that you can get your kids to stay more in quiet time that I have found helpful. It is having a visual timer. I can link that in the show notes. You can get it on Amazon. They're absolutely wonderful and great visual timers. My toddlers, my kids, they all love it. Just don't let them play with it because they're going to break them. Like have them on a higher surface. Have the kids listen to a podcast or an audiobook. And they're so awesome and great. Like Paws and Tails is one of the podcasts that my kids listen to. Big Life Kids, Lamplighter Kids is another podcast. I can link them in the show notes. But those are wonderful podcasts. I just have an iPad on Spotify. They listen to those podcasts. Wonderful, great, amazing. Keeps them kind of like their mind engaged so they're not super bored and they're not coming out like every 2 minutes. Or there's just music. They like music too. Here's some ways for you to decompress that will actually lower your stress. Journaling. Amazing. If you ever feel stressed out, overwhelmed, like you feel like everything is just going crazy, do a brain dump. Put everything in your journal from your mind and on paper, you automatically feel better. Or just processing what's going on in your life, what feels heavy, what feels hard. Put it in a journal like you're talking to a friend or like you're praying to God. Taking a bath, a wonderful way to decompress. Going on a walk without a device and just enjoying the nature, just listening to the birds, just being fully present. Moving your body and exercising, doing a YouTube video for 20 minutes, do some Pilates, moving your body or just stretches. Amazing way to decompress and to lower your stress. Reading a book. I heard the statistics, I don't know how true it is, but if you read a book for 10 minutes, your stress levels go down by 80%. But reading a book, obviously something you enjoy. Going out with a friend. Oh my gosh. Like every time I go out with a girlfriend, especially if it's like one-on-one or a small group, like 2 or 3 women, oh my gosh, I feel so restored. I feel so much better. So going out with a friend for dinner or something like that. Or like if you have a lifetime membership, you can invite a friend and then the kids are in childcare because you can invite a friend, I think, once a month. And then you guys can go sit in the cafe and chat. Oh my gosh, I've totally done that. Or go to the pool. I wish we had a lifetime here in Jacksonville, Florida. I think they were talking about building one, but it would be far away from where we live because it's like a massive city. But oh my gosh, it'd be so awesome. I would totally utilize it. And then maybe coloring or painting or listening to music, or if you play an instrument, if that's decompressing to you. Decluttering also oftentimes is decompressing because you're getting rid of clutter and it helps you feel better afterwards. So my friend, here's some ideas for you. First of all, figure out if you're an introvert and a highly sensitive person. I'll have the links of the episodes in the show notes. Ask for help. Seriously, you're not a failure. I ask for help all the time. Can you do it on your own? Possibly, but it comes at a cost. You're reaching out to me because you're struggling. And then find something that you enjoy that decompresses you and calms your nervous system. So then it calms your stress. So if you feel stressed out and you feel really reactive and you are ready to stop screaming at your kids over the tiniest things, I can help you. I have a Calm Christian Mom coaching program that I created for you. I have a step-by-step process. And if you're ready to start making changes today, the link is in the show notes to check out my Calm Christian Mom coaching program. And it's going to lead you to book a consultation call with me so I can talk to you and get to know you and see if my coaching program is the right next step for you. Also, if you want to submit a question for me to answer on the podcast, you can do that. In the show notes, there's a way for you to either leave me a voice note or submit a form, and I will answer your question on the podcast. I cannot wait to connect with you, friend. I'll talk to you later. Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things, like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.